You're watching WMBD This Morning.
Welcome back. A stand-up comedy event is sharing laughter, resilience, and community this Saturday in Peoria. It's in partnership with JOLT Harm Reduction, and it's called Recovery Fest.
That's right. And here to tell us more is Chris Schaffner, the executive director of JOLT. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here bright and early. But what can people expect at Recovery Fest? This is the second year.
Yeah, last year we decided we want to have an outdoor music festival. We did. That was great. But we really wanted to build on it again this year. And we just felt so important that recovery is more than just carrying the burdens of our past. It's also about liberation and celebrating life that we still have. So it should be joyful as well. And you know, how can you measure recovery if you can't laugh at yourself a little bit?
Absolutely. I love that.
Now, what inspired the idea to make this a stand-up comedy show? Because I do think laughter is important when you're thinking about healing and overcoming trauma. So why did you turn this into a comedy show?
Well, honestly, through some friends, I have a long interest in stand-up comedy. I've always enjoyed it. I've always wanted to do it. And we have other friends in recovery that also perform like at an amateur level. And we've done some smaller events with them. And we just really all felt as a recovery community like, let's just get it together and have a great time and make fun of each other.
Good deal, good deal.
It's absolutely the best medicine, that's for sure. Now, the community support, it's important when it comes to recovery. You know, as much as it is the person who is going through the recovery, it needs to be something that they choose. Community is so important. So how does their support play a role in recovery?
Yeah, recovery doesn't happen in a vacuum. Community is so important. Johann Hari wrote a book called Chasing the Scream, where he tried to get to the root of substance use and problematic drug use. And what he found was that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. Really at its heart, substance use, particularly when it's heavily stigmatized and heavily shamed, separate people from meaningful relationships. And so recovery is about restoring those relationships. And so that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to build a community of people that are no longer ashamed and that feel like they can step back into those places where they're seen and they're welcome and they're wanted. And we just try to challenge any stigma that gets in the way of that.
I love that.
Absolutely. And I think when you're talking about people who are in recovery, you have to remember that these people are human beings. They've just fallen on hard times. Maybe they're experiencing trauma and they're trying to heal from that. So my question is, what would you say to someone who's struggling with addiction to get them to feel more comfortable that they are in recovery, you know?
Yeah, I think we define recovery often in really black or white terms. You either use drugs or you don't use drugs. Yeah. I think there's a whole lot of gray area in there too. Just making significant reduction in the amount of substances you use is a step in the right direction for many people, right? Sure. For some of our folks, if they inject drugs, it's about doing that and not sharing needles so they don't spread hepatitis C or contract HIV. Yeah. It's those kinds of micro changes that really build capital towards recovery. We've got to stop defining recovery as just abstinence-based only. The idea that somebody uses substances that they were dependent on for 15, 20 years, and now all of a sudden they're just supposed to stop and never, ever do it again. That's just not how human behavior changes. Right. And so it's trying to walk with people along the way, regardless of what kind of setbacks they have, what successes they have, and just being present with them no matter what.
Most definitely. I mean, you guys are carrying a really important message, and so I think it's absolutely so important that you guys make sure you make it out tomorrow, September 20th, and just laugh and have a good time and recognize the importance of recovery and being there for other people. But I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Please come out.
Yeah, we'll share all these details on our website, ciproud.com. Click on the WMBD This Morning tab under News.